You got to clap for me, honey. Good.
That was loud.
Good day to you. Happy Wednesday. Is it Wednesday? It's Wednesday. Halfway through the week. Welcome to the Curt and Jen in the Morning podcast. We don't have Curt with us. He's in Florida right now. He is visiting family. He's having fun. He's visiting his family. And so hot firefighter boyfriend Pat is here to guest co-host with me. And we have all kinds of fun things happening on the show today. First of all, thank you for filling in, Pat. Pat goes to, we're going to record this. It's pretty early, and Pat's got to run to work for his 24-hour shift that he starts at 7:30 this morning. 8 o'clock, but you got to get there. You got to get there early. So things coming up today. Are you get ready to increase your streaming budget, because if you're a Netflix subscriber, costs are going up again.
Yeah, I'm digging it.
Is it necessary to warm up your car in cold weather?
Yeah.
You said you've been
I've
some
seen
videos
some
on
videos
this.
on that, yeah.
The most trusted professions and least trusted professions.
Yeah. How you blow off steam, hang around. You might get some ideas on
what to do with blowing off some steam.
For your own life.
And do you feel this is a good one? I had to put this one in here, honey, because we're co-hosting. Do you feel comfortable pooping in front of your partner? But first, there's a couple other things. Here's a few quick little nuggets I wanted to just put in, just little nuggets of information. Like, Instagram is reportedly offering creators cash bonuses, get this, of up to $50,000 a month if they post exclusively to Reels in an effort to capitalize on TikTok's uncertain status in the U.S.
Interesting.
How do I cash in on that? That would make my life just a little bit easier to have $50,000 a month.
Are those current creators or are those anybody?
I think it's probably current creators, but I may want to do a little research on that. This is awesome. Ichiro, from the Mariners, has become the first Japanese player elected to the Baseball Hall of Fame. That happened yesterday.
That's good for him.
I love that.
He's a good player.
I was mentioning this to you yesterday, Pat. I was watching the Mel Robbins podcast with Dr. William Lee on it, and he was discussing microplastics, which I feel like I've been hearing more and more about. And he was saying that we ingest about a credit card size of microplastics every single week into our bodies. And obviously that's not good. And then I was thinking, okay, well, I didn't listen to the whole thing yet. So I went and I Googled what he said is a solution. And he says the solution is reducing exposure to microplastics by avoiding single-use plastics. So like water bottles is one example, and replacing them with glass or wooden alternatives, which I was surprised it wasn't metal. Because I have a lot of, this is kind of I guess.
Plastic.
Okay.
Is it metal lined though?
I feel like it's metal lined.
It's
right? So I don't know if that's bad. I don't know if metal's bad, but he specifically said glass or wooden. Anyway, I was just a little taken back by that. So therefore I am switching. I had plastic containers and you put them all in a garbage bag for me to donate, and I'm going to start using more.
Seems like they go back and forth on all of this stuff constantly.
Maybe. Glass can't be bad though, can it? Who knows?
Only for breaks,
might be.
maybe.
The Golden Raspberry Award nominees were announced yesterday. This always happens right before the Academy Award nominees get announced, which that happens tomorrow, and that's a big thing. We'll have some of that information tomorrow for you. But the Razzies is what they're called, the worst movies. And there's a 5-way tie for the most nominations: Borderlands, Joker, Folie de, it's French, Madame Web, Megalopolis, and Reagan. Those each have 6 nominations. You can get.
I don't think I've heard of any of them, to be honest.
I thought that you'd watched Borderlands, maybe. I think J-Lo's in that one. I thought that you'd watched that for some. I don't know.
I've seen it.
Okay. Anyway, each have 6 nominations. You can get the fullest of nominees, the worst actress, worst actor, the whole thing. Just Google 2025 Razzie nominations, and you can get that. And then, honey, I know we play pickleball together.
Yes.
When the weather's nicer. And I thought that the pickleball capital of the world was right here in Washington State since we developed it. But guess what? It is not.
We have a short season.
We do have a short.
Unless you're doing indoor.
There's a lot of indoor places coming our way.
But, pickleball is way better outdoors, I think. That's my personal opinion, though.
Well, that's probably why Naples, Florida is the capital of pickleball, the world capital of pickleball.
Yeah.
And it's solidified its reputation by hosting prestigious Minto U.S. Open Pickleball Championships and has an impressive number of courts and vibrant pickleball communities.
Well, and that's the other thing is if they're catering to it, which sounds like they are.
They are.
They're putting the work in, putting courts in, and it's like anything else. The more there are exposure, hey, what's that?
Yeah,
so
you're right.
I can definitely see it around here. Once again, unless you're driving by, it's very rare you see a bunch of outside courts.
That's
there are
true.
some,
and usually they're just like sprinkled, right? There's 2 here, and then maybe you travel 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or more miles, and there's 2 there, and it's not just
otherwise
like big.
there's the indoor ones, but they're big buildings that you don't even know they're pickleball, so they're not getting people who aren't searching for it. In my opinion,
You're right. My last little nugget of info that I have for you today. A study found that the most popular 4-digit pins in America include 1234, 1111, 7777, 0000, 1212, and
my favorite.
Wait for it. 6969. I want
That's
to
funny.
put that in there.
That's funny.
I had to put it in there. Okay, now on to our show topics. I was just finding all these little nuggets of information, and I thought, okay, I'm just gonna put them all in one little clump, and just because they're just quick little things, All right, Netflix is getting more expensive. Had you already heard about this? Because you're a
haven't.
Netflix subscriber.
I am. Yeah, I dropped down to the cheap plan because I don't watch it enough, so just save myself some money.
Well, okay, so I think it's funny that the headline was that it's getting more expensive again, and the price is going up for the first time since October of 2023, which was only less than a year and a half ago, right?
2023,
24, yeah.
Which if you look at cost of living goes up. It's going up for my plan, it's going up $1.
So from $6.99 to $7.99 here,
which is actually, if you think about it, that went up over 10%.
Yeah.
That's close to. I'm not quick on math, but that's close to 14.
It's $7 to $8.
14%. 15%.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the other plans are.
The standard ad-free tier is jumping by $2.50 from $15.49 to $17.99, and the premium plan is going from $22.99 to $24.99.
Yeah.
And the cost of adding an extra member to your primary account is going up too, which I didn't know you had to now pay for extra members.
Yeah, they're making it really hard. It's hard to log in. If I'm at work, and, in the evening we watch TV or whatever. If I try to log in there, but it's logged in somewhere else, you have to be they're making it really difficult. It used to be you could keep it open everywhere.
So adding a primary member is going up from $7.99 to $8.99, and Netflix says, quote, as we continue to invest in programming and deliver more value for our members, we will occasionally ask our members to pay a little more so that we can reinvest to further improve Netflix. Now, I will say, okay, Netflix, that's all fine and good, except for, let's read this last part of this article, shall we? Well, it's not clear when prices will go up. That's, first of all, they're just made the announcement. But they just announced a quarterly revenue that reached $10 billion for the first time in history. So this announcement comes out, and then they had record number of people signing up, number of subscribers, and then they're saying, oh, we're gonna increase the cost. What the heck?
Yeah,
they're making $10 billion a quarter.
Ultimately, it's supply. They'll either get the people or people start walking away, and then, but that's the thing to do now, stream. So
people are going to pay for it.
Cable companies aren't making it any better, so
this I know for sure. Okay, we're talking about the most and least trusted professions. There was a Gallup poll that found...
We're not in there at all.
You're not in there at all, which I'm actually surprised about. When he says we're not in there at all, he means he's a firefighter. That's not in here. I don't know why they don't. This isn't an extensive list, though. I bet you it makes it somewhere along the line. The annual Gallup poll found that lobbyist is the least trusted profession. Which, okay, I buy off on that.
Well, it's a biased position. You're strictly going for one thing, right?
Yeah. Well, that rank of the 23 jobs listed, that ranked last. Only 4% of Americans rate them as more honest and ethical than average. The next least trusted profession is being a member of Congress.
Yeah, anything political. I mean, what? No, surprise.
Yeah, and here you're going to love this, Pat. The rest of the bottom 5 are TV reporters, advertising practitioners, and car salespeople.
Yeah.
Nurses were voted the most trusted profession for the 25th year or the 24th year in a row. 46% of Americans rate them.
76.
What did I just say?
46.
For crying out loud.
I'm sorry. Didn't mean fact check you.
No, fact check me because I'm reading it wrong. You say.
Well, 76% of Americans rate them, the nurses, as the most more honest and ethical than average.
Yeah.
And if
then it's
grade school teachers, military officers, pharmacists, and doctors. So, I mean,
I don't know why doctors surprised me for some reason. I don't know. I mean, they have to be honest, I suppose, but I just feel like, I don't know.
Well, yeah, and people complain about doctors sometimes, but it's not normally because they're not honest. It's normally because they don't like their bedside manner or something like that.
Yeah,
in my opinion,
that's true. So they pose this question: if you, knowing this information, if you were on a first date and you found out someone was a member of Congress that you're dating, or that they're a government lobbyist, would that automatically change your opinion of them? You're pretty fair about people.
I'm like, give them a chance.
Yeah.
Prove to me that you're one way or the other before I make decisions. I try to follow that. I mean, you might still have your underlying bias, though, right?
Yeah, well, because now that you know this, if they said, "Oh, I'm a lobbyist for a living," you'd be like, "Oh, okay, you're the least trusted profession."
Well, I would be like, "Well, talk to me about that. Tell me what you're lobbying for and what
You'd learn a lot.
I would be interested to know how they go about it. I've never talked to a lobbyist before.
I'd have a lot of questions for lobbyists.
No,
I have a lot of questions. I know, honey. On our first date, I asked Pat a lot of questions.
Yeah, I felt like I was talking all the time because she just kept firing questions. But it was good.
Natural. It was a natural succession of questions based on your answers. Do you feel comfortable pooping in front of your partner? Do you?
I would say, I'd open the door.
Yeah,
talk to you,
we're pretty private, but we'll also talk to each other. We'll also open the door and say, to have a quick conversation. Like the door creaked open a little bit.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I'm like, I think I try to keep that kind of separate.
Yeah,
stuff,
when you're living with someone, which we don't live together, but I mean, we spend a lot of time together.
Yeah.
It's hard to hide anything for the most part. But in a new study, only 1 in 3 Americans, I shouldn't say only 1 in 3 Americans, only 1 in 3 Americans say they feel completely comfortable. Okay, 1 in 3 Americans say they feel completely comfortable pooping or passing gas in front of their significant other, which means that the other 2 in 3 people try to hide stuff like that.
Yeah.
That tracks for me.
I think so.
And for some people, the poop shyness extends to people they don't know.
I used to be that way. And
like in public restrooms?
In public restrooms, I'd be like, oh, somebody came in. So it'd be like quiet.
No,
not just explode or something.
I love that we're poop talking in the podcast today. About 6 in 10 women admit to feeling uncomfortable doing number 2 in a public restroom if other people are around. That's compared to 4 in 10 men. So men are far more comfortable.
Oh, yeah.
Pooping in front of other people.
Seems like my boys especially, they don't care. They just let them rip.
Well,
whatever.
I mean, your oldest for sure does not care.
Yeah.
We were having a conversation about passing gas yesterday, actually, with your son, David. And he was like, I feel like you were saying that you're like, I feel like I pass gas. Like, I feel like I'm getting old because I'll stand up and I'll pass gas on
that's
accident.
Like, geez, I'm getting old. I'm like, my mom, she would do that, like get up and move. And I'm like, geez, but I found here lately, it's like, oh.
But David, your youngest son, who's what? Is David 27? Is he
26.
26? He said the same thing though. He's like, I'm passing gas more than ever.
And then he forgets. He forgets where he was.
He said he passed gas kind of loud and he forgot that he was at work. He's like, oh my God, I'm at work. Wait.
He's gonna love that we're talking about that.
I know, right? Just over half of women say they generally try to avoid public restrooms altogether. And just under half of men agree with that too. You don't try to avoid public restrooms at all.
No.
60% of Americans say overall they're fine with using an airplane bathroom if needed. One last thing, you've surely heard about people talking about whether or not they've peed while taking a shower. This was part of this whole study and poll that they did. This study took it a step further. About 1 in 20 people confess to defecating in the shower.
I wonder if that's by accident or, if you're sick or something and you sneeze or, I just wonder, or if that's like purposeful. I'm just going to go right here. No, not for me.
I'll pee in the shower every once in a while.
Every once in a while, yeah.
Yeah, but I do not poop in the shower. 5% of women owned up to that, and 7% of men have done it before.
Like I said, I just wonder if that's purposeful or if it's, I don't know.
I mean,
anyway, to each their own.
That's a lot. Even if you're in the shower, that's a lot of cleanup.
Oh yeah, that's the thing. I guess you wash it down.
Just don't step in it.
How else do you get it? How else do you get it? It's like that last little piece of soap that you're pushing past the drain.
Stop it. All right, we're moving on to this question. Straight men were asked, out of 1,000 single women your age, how many would be attracted to you? How would you answer that?
I would say when I was younger, I would say 0.
You would?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now?
No,
out of 1,000. Out of 1,000 women, you're around your age range.
I would say maybe, 10, 15%, give or take.
So about 100 to 150 people?
Maybe, yeah, out of 1,000.
Okay. I thought this was interesting. So they asked that question, and 42% did not have high hopes and said maybe between 1 and 25 of those women would be attracted to me, which is only 0.1 to 2.5%.
That's surprising, though. You think about that. I wonder if they really thought about the percentages and the numbers.
Well, here's what I thought was interesting. Some of the comments when they had asked that question was, okay, does it mean I'm walking in right now, or do I have a chance to shave and clean up a little bit?
Well, that's true. Because...
Right. So then if that's the case, then maybe 5 would be attracted to me, which makes my heart so sad. Some of the other stats, let me just give some of the other stats real quick. 24% said a little bit higher, between 26 and 74 of them, which is still a low percentage. That's 2.6 to 7.4%.
Yeah.
We'll read that one.
15% said they'd turn heads, which...
So you're saying you're turning some heads. That's
100
your
to
category.
120 of them, which is 10 to 20.
100,
I would say
100 to 200 of them, which is 10 to 20%.
I would say maybe just get that look. I don't think it'd be totally, I don't know.
14% said they'd be fawned over, with more than 200 of the 1,000 women being attracted to them, which is more than 20%.
Yeah.
Okay, so one person asked about, can I change and shave? One other person said, can I talk to them for a few hours, or is this just based on first appearance stuff only, like first impressions only, not talking to them, just appearance? And that makes a huge difference too, because I think that once you get to talk to someone, you find out so much more about them, and if they're funny and make you laugh, you might not be like, oh my God, he's so hot. But if there's a good rapport and a good, what's the word I'm looking for? Just a good connection.
Yeah, good chemistry.
Then that changes everything.
I think that is huge,
Yeah. Anyway, I just thought that was a little depressing that there's so many men there that say, you know what, not a lot. One man did say, he's like, listen, for better or for worse, women are a lot more pickier than men. Would you say that that's true? I would say that was true.
I mean, honestly, I wouldn't know, because the other whatever percentage aren't looking. It's like, how do you quantify that, right? I mean, I don't go around going, oh, she looking at me? She looking at me?
All right, well, there you have it. You can play along. What's your percentage? This is all you, Pat Curran. This is all you.
Yeah, do you need to warm up your car in cold weather?
Because it's always been said, if it's cold, you gotta warm up your car.
Yeah, and now the controversy is, a lot of the emission stuff.
Yeah.
If you let especially like my diesel truck, that's the one big thing they're talking about now, is because at idle speed, that's probably the most inefficient burn you can get.
Oh.
And sometimes they'll bump up to like 1,000 RPM instead of, it idles at, let's say, 700 RPM. They'll bump it up to 1,000 RPM. Some of the trucks have that option.
Oh.
To get the idle up a little bit. Our motorhome has that option.
Okay.
So anyway, the little higher RPM keeps that a little bit cleaner burn. What's happening is a lot of cars with all their catalytic converters and all the emission stuff are getting clogged up, and they
because they're just sitting idling, warming
up. And also there's oil, there's certain parts of your engine that the oil pump actually pumps oil to, and there's certain parts of your engine that the oil gets thrown to.
Pat's really smart about cars.
So the higher RPM throws that oil around in those areas that need to have it thrown around.
Okay.
Well, if you're idling, it's not getting thrown around. So that oil's not, the amount of oil isn't getting thrown up into the areas that need to be.
So what's the bottom line?
They say, you start your car, warm it up for, 30 seconds to a minute.
Oh, that's it?
Yeah, and then start driving, but drive within, don't just jump on the throttle. That's where we end up at the fire service. We end up tearing up our equipment quicker because we are from 0 to 100, not really 100, but you know what I'm saying?
Faster,
we're full throttle. At least, getting out of, those big engines. When I start off at a light, I'm full throttle for the most part because it takes so long to get up to speed because they're heavy.
Okay.
So anyway, don't go full throttle. Don't, just drive reasonably cautious to allow that engine to warm up to full temperature before you're pounding on the throttle.
But get going, but don't more than a minute, no.
Yeah, they're saying more than a minute. Now, you have people who do say, hey, they put a 15-minute warm-up thing, like if you remote start your car, it runs for 15 minutes. There are people out there who say, the engineers, they put that on there for a reason, so 15 minutes is okay. Things that they say about that is, though, they say change your oil every 10,000 miles. Well, part of that is to meet the EPA requirement.
You know way too much, honey.
Yeah. So it doesn't necessarily mean that it's better for your car, let's say, to let it warm up for that 15 minutes.
Yeah.
They're just making it a convenience. They don't care whether it tears it up or not because guess what? They get money when you have to take it in to repair it.
Yeah, but look at this. Modern cars with fuel injectors warm up really fast, like 5 seconds, according to AAA.
It doesn't warm up in 5 seconds. It starts the burning process because of the computers. They can keep it running. Carbureted engines, yeah, you needed to warm it up to get it to really hold.
May I please say this? Warm up your car enough to get the windows clear of any frost, or get out there with an ice scraper and scrape off your ice. I literally saw someone driving yesterday when I forget where I was going, but it was in the morning. And this person had a frost, like the guy was literally looking through his car windshield below, but the rest of it was frosted.
Yeah, that's dangerous.
Like what in the hell?
That's where the warming up a little bit longer. I've done it where my side windows haven't like thawed out,
Then
and I
unroll
didn't
your
scrape
windows.
it, but I rolled my windows
God, I'm like, this dude
And
is
it's cold, but I
destined
do
for
it.
an accident,
Yes.
and that is crazy to me. Anyway, okay. We asked you yesterday this question, and we have your answers, and this might give you some ideas on what you can do in your life to blow off steam. That was the question. How do you blow off steam?
Well,
Let's go through it.
Yeah, Lily says rage cleaning or boxing or kickboxing.
Yep.
Taylor is walking or gym.
Go to the gym. Yeah. Susie said, I get on my horse and run as fast and as far as she wants to go. I always feel better after that.
How does the horse feel though?
Janelle said, first thought, eat chocolate. But going for a small walk to unwind is what she does. Sonia?
And then Sonia talking.
Oops, sorry.
Talking with friends just to get it out.
Yeah.
Not to solve anything, but just so she doesn't bottle it up inside.
I do a lot of that too. If I'm super frustrated, I'll talk to you or one of my friends, and knowing that it's not going to necessarily get solved, but just to kind of get it off my chest.
And us men know that with women. We're supposed to. Women like to just vent, they say.
Oh, okay. So you just listen?
Look up It's Not About the Nail on YouTube.
It's not about the nail?
Yeah, look up It's Not About the Nail on YouTube. That'll...
Is that your life lesson?
That is the life
dealing
lesson
with
in
women?
dealing... Well, yeah, it's funny. I mean, I've shown it to a lot of people, and I've shown it to you too. You probably just don't remember it.
Okay. Marilyn said, yell out very loud in my car, away from other people, or sit at the beach here in Stillicum.
Well, that's good. She goes away from... I normally yell out loud, and
That's
sometimes people are around.
I heard it from the motorhome one time, honey.
I know.
Leslie said going to the gym. Carrie said deep, deep breaths.
Yep. And Jennifer says walk. And Pam is another kickboxing.
Yep. Oh, another walking one. Stephanie said treadmill. Let's see. I think we have a couple more answers here. Let's see. Oh, yeah. We've got lots more answers. Let's see.
Yeah.
Jeanette. Oh, you like Jeanette.
Wait for it. Yoga.
But why did she say that? Because we know Jeanette.
Jeanette owns yoga.
She owns Spark Hot Yoga in Snohomish and Marysville. Yeah, she's awesome. Miriam said, depends on the weather, either totally cleaning the house or aggressively weeding or pulling weeds out of the garden. I'm like, I was thinking, Miriam, if you're mad or frustrated and need to blow off some steam, come on over to our house.
I was just thinking
Come on over to our house, girlfriend.
Yeah. And you can talk about it all the time if you want. Jackie's exercise.
Go ahead and finish them out.
Laurel is pray to calm me down, exercise, last resort, a glass of wine. And Corey is clean aggressively and slam a few cabinets along the way. Well,
Be
there
careful
you
don't
go.
break anything.
Yeah, don't break anything.
Okay, so Corey cleaning aggressively, you can come over to my house, but don't slam the cabinets.
Yeah, that's where you need those soft clothes.
What did you say about yours, honey? You just yell, right?
Yeah, I tend to swear and yell, and I have been known to throw a wrench once in a while. And that actually cost me some money because I ended up breaking a tile with that.
Yeah. Well, don't throw things, lads. Or I need to wear a helmet around you in case you get mad.
Well, I never throw in the direction of anybody.
Well, okay. Thank goodness. Oh, I wanted to mention this before we launch into our last topic of the show, which will lead into our question of the day. I wanted to let you know that Curt and I are going to be hosting / emceeing this Alexander's Hope Valentine's Dash that happened. It's an annual thing. We actually hosted it last year. We're gonna be out there. We'd love to see you there. It's the Saturday before Valentine's Day, which is February 8th. It starts at 9 a.m. It's in a new location this year. It's in Bellevue Downtown Park. It's gonna be a beautiful walk. I saw the route. Really great cause. And Pat, you know about this actually because of the profession you're in. You have some exposure to it. So Alexander's Hope is all about raising awareness about organ donation, but more importantly, kids' heart health. And so the money from this walk / run, it's a 5K, goes directly to the Nick of Time Foundation, which goes to different high schools and for free screens kids.
Yeah, they ask for volunteers from
they work
firefighters to come, and some of the medics to be able to do the EKGs, and then even EMTs to do blood pressures and things like that.
Yeah, so it helped. I mean, they've saved a lot of kids' lives actually because they've detected heart issues, because it all happened because you started hearing in the news, and you still hear it, unfortunately, kids and even adult athletes just dropping down on the field or on the court because of some heart condition that they didn't know.
Yeah, and I'm not up on it, but there's a certain arrhythmia that can hit, that it's an underlying thing that nobody knows they have, and it's just a certain arrhythmia that can kick in when their heart is beating quickly.
Yeah, it's very sad. So anyway, they do really great work, and they help save kids. So the money from the walk goes to them so they can help pay for those heart screenings. They work with UW Medicine too, like those doctors are involved with this whole thing. Like it's legit. Anyway, come see us. It's a 5K walk, family friendly. Pets are welcome. People dress up in Valentine's Day colors and in costumes, and you can sign up.
Sign up if you want to walk, right?
Yep, at alexandershope.org. We'd love to see you. So there's that. All right, we're on to our last topic, and that is dad hacks. So I guess dad hacks is all the rage on TikTok right now. There's a bunch of dads that are posting their dad hacks. And there's one that's going gangbusters right now. And have you ever done this before, throwing a tarp down?
No.
So if you know it's gonna snow, but you have to do it before it snows, you throw a tarp down on your driveway. And then it snows, and then instead of having to shovel, you just take your tarp and roll it up with the snow.
And there's a caveat, because around here we get wet snow, and if we get any amount of it.
It won't work because it's too heavy?
Oh, it's too heavy. You'd never move that tarp. Trust me.
Okay, well, maybe this isn't such a good hack.
Well,
then.
if you're in an area that has really cold weather and the snow is like fluffy dry, that might work just fine because it's powdery. And you can just
I was wondering about that when I was watching the TikTok video. I'm like, could I lift that? I wonder if I could lift that.
Yeah, around here, we typically get a wet snow. I mean, unless it's really, really cold, we get a wet snow. And I mean, good for them if they can lift that thing.
Pat's just pooping on my parade right now.
Better dads than I.
You're just pooping on my parade, honey.
Well, we're able to do that together.
I looked up, as long as you don't on the shower or me.
Yeah, not on the shower. Or you, yeah. That would
I'm
be
not
wrong.
into that.
That would be wrong.
I looked up a dad hack because I'm like, what does that really mean? It's just a clever, often practical trick or strategy used by fathers to navigate the challenges of parenting, making their lives easier and more efficient, usually involving quick solutions to common situations with kids. So that's why they call it, it's kind of a life hack for dads. So that leads into our question of the day, because I want to know, what is your life hack or parent hack? I mean, if you're a dad, we call it a dad hack. But what's your parent hack?
We want to include everybody.
Yeah, parent or life hack. That's what I want to know.
I had to think about that. I don't know. I'd really have to think about that.
There was one other one that I read about that I thought was very clever, and that was this dad made a bunch of eggs. He was feeding his whole family, so he had a good sized frying pan with a bunch of eggs on it, and he had the pans that have the glass lids.
Yeah.
I don't know if it would matter, but it didn't have a very big lip on it, I guess is the
that would
point.
Be the key.
He slid all the eggs onto the lid, put the pan over the lid, and flipped all the eggs. It was pretty slick. I'm like, well, you got to use a good amount of butter or oil for that because it's got to be slickery to be able to slide that out and then.
Yeah, I've done things like that before where it's easier to flip everything just by sliding a cookie sheet over, flip it.
Yeah.
Yes. Depending on what you're cooking. Yeah. I don't know.
I know you got the hacks. We want to know about them because, let's share how to make life easier because we could all use a little bit of that.
That's right.
Pat, thanks for.
You're welcome. Now you got to go to work.
Oh, now you got to go to work. Be safe out there. You guys, thank you so much for letting us be part of your day. Have an awesome Wednesday. Make good choices. Find joy. Spread kindness. And find ways to laugh because it's good for the soul.